It was the 5th day. The courtroom was thick with tension on Cassie Ventura's cross-examination, a day that would end with a lot of questions. This final chapter in her testimony wasn't just about exposing contradictions. It was an aggressive, deliberate attempt to eviscerate her credibility, her character, and even her sanity. The defense came armed like soldiers in a final siege, rolling in with a literal truckload of exhibits, many unvetted, so much so that the judge had to interrupt, noting, "Counsel, we need to proceed in an orderly fashion. Submit your exhibits in accordance with procedure." But the damage, for the most part, had already begun. Cassie's arrival. Cassie arrived in court looking like she had stepped off the pages of Vogue, confident, poised, and dressed in a pink striped suit that screamed, "I'm still standing." Her composure only made what was about to unfold more jarring. Because once the session began, the court was no longer discussing a pop star. They were unraveling a complicated web of trauma, contradiction, and heartbreak. The defense's strategy became clear early: paint Cassie as promiscuous, manipulative, and addicted not just to drugs but to Diddy himself. They began by revisiting the infamous allegation that Cassie had been cheating on Diddy with a former NFL player. Though the player's name wasn't mentioned, the courtroom buzzed with speculation. According to the defense, Diddy had confiscated Cassie's phone, her passport, and even her watches whenever he suspected infidelity. They alleged he also accused her of being involved with Chris Brown. This, they argued, justified his possessiveness. But if that line of argument aimed to win sympathy for Diddy's behavior, it fell flat. The court couldn't ignore that controlling someone's movements and communications isn't romantic, it's abuse. But let's move on. The violence claims. The defense then pivoted, attempting to show Cassie as someone not just victimized but violent. A 2013 text was displayed where Cassie, after a party at her brother's house, told Diddy, "I almost had to kill a Bayek." The piece de resistance came in the form of a disturbing party video. Cassie yelling at a male friend who allegedly had a private video of her, one she wanted deleted. In the clip, she threatened him, saying she'd off him and hide his body, a threat she claimed Diddy might fulfill. Now, while the defense attempted to show her as aggressive, many observers found themselves sympathizing with her anger. After all, what kind of friend keeps an incriminating video without consent? Next is mental health, weaponizing vulnerability. In one of the lowest moments of the session, the defense tried to use Cassie's mental health struggles against her. She had previously admitted to using opioids to cope with the emotional toll of her relationship, later receiving trauma therapy. But the defense turned this against her. You know what else they treat at those facilities? The defense attorney asked, sex addiction, love addiction, sex compulsion. They insinuated that Cassie's lawsuit wasn't a lucid, well-thought-out account of abuse, but rather the hallucinations of a mentally unstable woman who couldn't let go of a toxic love. It was cruel, and transparently so. Next exhibit, the freak-off texts. The courtroom shifted uncomfortably as sexually explicit texts between Cassie and Diddy were displayed. Cassie had texted, "We have to have a proper freak-off without ketamine, I hate K. Let me know and I'll fly in Dave, an escort." "You want to freak off with a girl?" Diddy replied, "What makes you want to do that?" "We need to do some soul-searching, we need to think about it." Cassie answered, "I'm happiest when I feel in love with you. I know I'm a problem, but I love you." The texts painted a deeply disturbing picture of a toxic relationship where love, sex, and drugs were all tangled together. This raised the question of if the freaks were actually forced on her, as she claimed. Alex Fine, the husband on the side. Cassie testified that she began dating her now husband, Alex Fine, after breaking up with Diddy in 2018. But the defense revealed messages and timelines that suggested the story wasn't so linear. One particularly damning moment came when Cassie admitted she'd been with Diddy, sexually, while already dating Alex. The courtroom reportedly gasped when she said, "Yes," in response to whether she had consensual sex with Diddy while dating her current husband. Alex, sitting quietly in the room, looked visibly shaken. Did he know all of these? Maybe he did. Still, the prosecution reminded everyone, being in love doesn't disqualify someone from being abused. The spite angle. The defense didn't stop there. They argued Cassie sued out of spite. When Diddy posted on social media that the late Kim Porter was his soulmate, Cassie allegedly texted him, "What was the 11 years about?" The defense attorney said in a mocking tone, Kim was the love of his life, and you married yours, hun? They tried to insinuate that Cassie rushed into marriage with Alex Fine as revenge. But it came across more as petty than persuasive, but everyone enjoyed the mocking, teasing nature of the defense lawyer here. The shocker, still talking in 2019. By 2019, everyone assumed Cassie and Diddy were done, but the court revealed otherwise. Diddy, congrats! You'll make a beautiful mother. I had a dream about you. I miss my best friend. Cassie, I miss you too. Diddy, greater than you're my ride or die. One of the greatest women in the world. When pressed, Cassie admitted the message meant a lot. That's what I wanted then, she said. The defense used this to undermine her claims of trauma. But the prosecution wisely noted, trauma bonds are real, complex, and often irrational. Money-hungry or justifiably compensated. The defense tried to say she filed the lawsuit for financial gain, highlighting the $20 million settlement she received from Diddy and an additional $10 million from Intercontinental Hotel for the viral assault footage. $30 million total, the defense lady said dramatically. And you're still crying? Cassie broke down. If I could do it again, I'd walk away. I'd want my career and my life. It was raw, human, and seeming real, but didn't she choose money? Exhibits from room 2115. A Homeland Security agent testified next, detailing the items recovered from Diddy's hotel suite. 4 bags of baby oil by the entrance. 5 bottles of baby oil in the tub. A hallway camera pointed toward guests. Astragalide pills and ketamine. Mood lights. It was less a room and more a factory of fetish. The prosecution didn't need to say much. The evidence spoke volumes. Final notes. The defense's strategy was clear. Smear her, shame her, exhaust her, but even in tears Cassie stood tall. Her voice may have trembled, but it never disappeared. We leave this day not with a neat conclusion, but with a mess of contradictions, heartbreaks, and unanswered questions. One thing is clear, nobody walks out of a 10-year trauma unscathed. Whether you believe her entirely or think there's more to the story, you can't ignore the weight of what was presented. And that, dear viewers, was day 5, where truth, performance, and pain collided in one unforgettable courtroom drama. Please subscribe to our channel as we bring more about this case.